What's up, guys? So still Easter, and I went through some of my colonies and figured it'd be a good chance to take a look at this custom hive that I built. That I put a swarm in last year, and they died out sometime in the fall. Now the swarm that I had put in there was a swarm that I know the lady that they were her bees. They swarmed out of her hive, and she followed them around basically for a couple of days waiting for someone to come and get them. And finally I was able to get down there and get a hold of the bees. So they were twice overwintered, so that was, you know, going into the third year of the life of that queen. So I wasn't really overly surprised that they died, and wasn't at all really heartbroken about it. Now this thing was, I put 8 frames in this, and one of the first times I tried to inspect it, I realized that I messed up and should probably only put 7, and that's why I'm having such a difficult time removing these frames. Really, it's my design that was kind of flawed, so now I'm having a difficult time getting into this. I got one frame moving, but it doesn't want to come up and out. And when I get this open, you'll probably understand why, because these frames are enormous. They're really long, really deep, I should say. They're normal width, but essentially like 3 medium frames deep. Damn, this stuff is jammed in there, man. I'm having a hard time just moving frame. Here we go. So I'm going to put this back together with one less of these frames, because I'm pretty sure that they drew these together. God damn, this thing is crammed in there. Can't even pry it. I am able to open up this from the bottom. As well, and I probably should have. I'm just doing this kind of, I should be getting a shower and getting ready for Easter dinner with my family, but instead I'm here wrestling with these giant frames. Holy smokes. So I knew this was going to be messy and difficult, and this one frame is just really stuck. It's the end frame, so I think it is glued to the sidewall. So I'm able to get these 2 started. One of these might end up being sacrificed. Because I'm literally yanking my whole damn body. Here we go. Yeah, there's a lot of wonky wax at the bottom of this. And you can see, yeah, a whole bunch of wonky wax. Now I put foundation in the tops of these and had hoped that would inspire them to draw straight, and they did through most of the second section. It was when they got down the bottom here is when they started twisting it. Now these were never really intended to be practical. This is artistic and fun, and I wanted it to mimic, you know, a log style hive. If you look, this is over 2 inches wide all the way around and about 24 inches deep. So it's a substantial hive. It's deep and thick walled. The lid is insulated with the foam, 2-inch insulation foam. Again, yeah, they were fine through the top too, but they started crossing down here on the bottom. I drew a lot of wax on the side. So evidently my bee space was too wide on the sides. But all in all, pretty decent. They did a decent job drawing this comb out. And I'm going to pull a lot of it out of here. Okay, now we're really getting into the wonky comb. And this one will probably perfectly illustrate to you why. You can see right there, they started drawing across crooked and into the next frame. They drew over the bars. Instead of on the bottom, they drew out off the side. So in retrospect, these probably should have been square, and that might have helped, you know, if I had some kind of like ridge there for them. So I'm going to pull these bottom sections off, try to straighten some of it up. And I'm just going to put this back together and see what the bees do with it. See if something moves into it. That'd be kind of cool. Get a decent amount of wax to harvest from this, and it's all newer wax. It was done and drawn last year. And I only went through this box, I think, once, because once I realized that all that comb was wonky, then I had no chance of opening this up with any practicality. It was just going to be a mess every single time. So after, I think I went through it twice, and the second time is when they started to build that bottom section out, and at that point I realized that this was not going to be opened again unless it died out, and here I am. But no fault of the bees. I don't fault the bees. Like I said, that was a third-year queen. You know, and she could have been older than that. I have no idea. She wasn't marked. So my guess is she was a queen that the bees had made at some point in their life. I should have brought a bucket. But they got big in this. They got big in this fast. They did a nice job on it. They drew out all 8 frames. 6, 7, 8, yeah. And you can see this one here. This one they built. That was built through 2 and almost into the 3rd. I do a lot of cutout work, and there's always some curve. I always find some part of it curved. I don't know quite why that is. If it's on purpose, if they do that to make it easy to get back and forth between the brood, I don't know. Don't know. And the last frame. This one I'll show you this here in a second. So you can see down in here that they built onto the side in that middle space of that last frame. That was stuck to the walls. And I think it, like I said, this was not exactly, B space. It was enough to hold the frames. These are custom frames. I made them, and they're not exactly the same size. So B space, I know, was kind of goofy in here. But again, not at all supposed to be practical. This was supposed to be fun, and it is. It's really cool to see what they've done in here. So I'm gonna leave this set up, put the frames back in it. We'll leave a lot of that propolis in there. Get rid of some of this wax, and hopefully let somebody swarm into it. I got some Swarm Commander, maybe I'll give that a spray, but there's so much bee smell in this. These warmer days, this thing starts heating up. We're going to see quite a bit, I believe, in the way of swarming. It's coming soon, and I'm hoping that they hit this thing, so we'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope that was kind of cool. I'm going to put this thing back together, get myself cleaned up, and go eat some food later.